Hello everyone, this is Indrajit Ganguly and today I am continuing with my previous day's topic through the eyes of the travelers. Dear students, last day I was discussing with you about the views and perceptions of the two foreign travelers. One is Al-Biruni and second one is Ibn Battuta. And students, my today's discussion is also about the another foreign traveler and his name is Francois Barnier. So let's have a look into the topic Francois Barnier, a doctor with a difference. Remember students, Francois Barnier was a Frenchman, a doctor, political philosopher and historian. But before Francois Barnier, many European travelers often visited India. Some are very important and some are very popular. First one is Roberto Nobile. He translated many Indian into European languages. Next traveler is Duarte Barbosa. He was a Portuguese traveler and he wrote a detailed account of trade and society in India. Next traveler is Jean-Baptiste Tavernier. He was a French traveler and he was fascinated with the trading conditions in India and compared India to Iran and Ottoman Empire. Our next traveler who visited India, that was Manucci, and he was an Italian doctor and he was so much fascinated with India that he never returned to Europe. And our discussion is about the French traveler Francois Barnier. He stayed in India for 12 years from 1656 to 1668. He came in India during the rule of Shah Jahan. He was a Mughal court physician to Prince Dara Shukoh and later as an intellectual and scientist with Daminist Khan, a noble from Mughal court. Francois Barnier compared East and West. In the famous document which was produced by Francois Barnier was Travels in the Mughal Empire. Barnier compared the situation of Indian subcontinent to the European continent. He decided most of his works to Louis XIV. Louis XIV was a very powerful ruler of France and he belonged to the Bourbon dynasty. He described France is much more developed and advanced than India. So I hope you understood that Francois Barnier's writing was very much biased and it was about the development which was happened in France, and India was a most underrated country and it was an undeveloped country. Remember students, Barnier's work was very popular in Europe and his book was published in France in 1671. And not only, his book was translated into many languages like English, Dutch, German, Italian within the next 5 years. Between 1670 and 1725, his account was reprinted 8 times in French, and by 1684 it had been reprinted 3 times in English. So you have understood about the popularity of the book that was written by Francois Barnier, Travels in the Mughal Empire. So our next topic is making sense of an alien world, Al-Biruni and the Sanskrit tradition. So we are once again come back to the Al-Biruni description of Al-Biruni. Whenever Al-Biruni tried to understand the Indian subcontinent, Al-Biruni felt that there were some of the barriers are there to understand about the Indian societies. What are the barriers? Al-Biruni projected that the first barrier was language, obviously, because Al-Biruni stated that Sanskrit was so different from Arabic and Persian, so ideas and concepts could not easily translated from one language to another. Second barrier is that religious beliefs and practices. And the third barrier is that Al-Biruni depend upon several Brahmanical works like Vedas, Puranas, Bhagavat Gita and the works of Patanjali and Manusmriti. So detailed understanding of Indian society could not be provided from these accounts, because Al-Biruni never understand the conditions of the local population of India. So Al-Biruni's description is very limited and it was not helpful to understand about the contemporary situation of Indian society, politics and economy. Next, Al-Biruni's description of the caste system, it was very rigid and it was also limited too, because he looked into the caste system of India and he compared the caste system of India with the ancient Persia. I hope you remember that India was divided into 4 Varna, that is Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. So Al-Biruni compared this system just with the ancient Persia. He saw that in ancient Persia there are four categories peoples are there. First one is knights and princes. Second one is monks, fire priests and lawyers. Third one is physicians, astronomers and scientists. And the fourth one is peasants and artisans. He said that social divisions were not unique in India. In Hinduism there is a division, but in Islam all men were considered to be equal. But Al-Biruni disapproved the concept of pollution of purity. What does it mean? It means that Al-Biruni's idea was very much influenced by the Sanskrit tradition. Al-Biruni's idea was very much influenced by the Brahmanical ideas. And in the Brahmanical ideas, the society was divided into four varnas. While the Brahman and Kshatriya, they are privileged groups, but the Vaishya and the Shudra, they are unprivileged group in the society. But actually, this thing was not prevalent in the society. Just take the example that is the condition of the Antaja. These Antaja people were born outside the caste system, but these people are included in the economic structure and they provided cheap labor in the agrarian sector. So the Brahmanical basis of caste system was not prevalent in India on the description of Al-Biruni. Our next discussion about Ibn Battuta and the excitement of unfamiliar. Basically, I have told you in my previous video that Ibn Battuta was fascinated by the two plants, one is coconut, one is palm, because these two plants were unfamiliar in his hometown, so he was very fascinated by these two plants. But according to Ibn Battuta, the subcontinent was full of exciting opportunities for those who had the necessary drive, resources and skills. He also described that cities were densely populated and prosperous, but disruption caused due to wars and invasions. Streets were full of colorful market and sacked with a wide variety of goods. Delhi and Daulatabad were two important cities mentioned by him. Economic, social and cultural activities were done in bazaars. Most bazaars had a mosque or temple. Public performances done by dancers, musicians and singers. So obviously, bazaars is a place of all sort of activities described by Ibn Battuta in his book Rihala. Ibn Battuta also described about the Indian agricultural system. He stated that Indian soils are very much fertile, that allowed farmers to cultivate 2 crops a year. And he noted that subcontinent integrated trading relation with West and Southeast Asia. Indian textiles, cotton, fine muslin, silks, brocade, satin, etc. were in huge demand. But the thing is that certain varieties of fine muslins were so expensive that they could be owned only by the nobles and the very rich. Ibn Battuta was also amazed by the postal system. That's why he described the system as a unique system of communication. The efficiency of postal system allowed merchants to not only send information and remit credit across a long distance, but also to dispatch goods required at short notice. The efficient postal system enabled to reach Delhi from Sindh in just 15 days. Spice would reach Sultan in just 5 days. Ibn Battuta also mentioned that there are 2 types of postal system was prevalent in that time. First one is Uluk, that is horse post, and second one is Dawa, that is foot post. So students, this is it from my today's class. In my next day, I will discuss with you about that the comparison of Barnier with France and Indian society.